The BP curve is actually probably the most important component of the Mundell-Fleming model because it is what distincts the Mundell-Fleming from the ISLM model. Now, the BP curve, that was the balance of payment curve, shows the various combination of interest rates and national income at which the country's balance of payment is in equilibrium at a given exchange rate. Now, the balance of payment consists of two things: the current account and the capital account. The current account is usually spoken of in terms of the trade balance, and the capital account is usually spoken of in terms of the capital flow, capital balance. So the BoP is simply the sum of current account, let's say CA, plus capital account, KA. Now, the current account is simply measured by net export and depends on domestic output in the exchange rate. While the capital account, KA, is simply an inclusive function of the difference between domestic and foreign exchange rate, a foreign interest rate rather. So what is a current account? The current account simply is an account from the balance of payment which measures the flow of goods and services in an open economy. That is exports and imports. So flow of goods and services is basically shown as exports and imports of goods and services. So it is dependent on three key variables: one, domestic output; two, foreign output; and three, the exchange rate. So the current account is a negative function of domestic output. Current account is a negative function of domestic output. What this means, if domestic output or income increase, if more people are becoming richer due to higher output, they sell more output and get more money, they tend to switch their expenditures from domestic commodities to foreign commodities. So it means they have higher taste for foreign goods. So for instance, in Sierra Leone, most people tend to want to enjoy life once they feel rich. You want to have iPhone, you want to buy the best of items, you want to buy the best of commodities and the rest. So it leads to an increase in demand for foreign goods. Now, as increased demand for foreign goods, this leads to increased export and fall in net export. So as net export falls, it worsens the current account balance. Still on the current account is the current account, however, has a positive relationship with foreign income. So an increase in foreign income leads to an increase in goods and services produced domestically. So while domestic income, if it increase, tend to purchase more foreign income, foreign goods. Now, if foreigners also feel wealthy, they will also want to buy more of our goods. Given that our goods are luxurious, are really good, they are ostentatious in nature. So this leads to an increase in net exports because we are now exporting, and because we are exporting, net export improves, then it improves instead of capital, actually, it improves the current account of the economy. So three is that the current account has a negative relationship with the exchange rate. So a rise in the exchange rate, if the exchange rate increases domestically, it means domestic goods are now relatively expensive. They are more costly than foreign goods. Foreign goods are cheaper than domestic goods. So any rational person will prefer to buy from foreign goods than domestic. So this leads to a fall in exports, net export, and worsens the current account. So in summary, the current account balance is expressed as CA equals to minus Y, alpha Y, because there is negative relationship between domestic income and the current account, plus beta Y, because there is positive relationship between the current account and foreign income, minus theta ER, that is negative relationship between exchange rate and current account. Now the capital account. So the capital account simply records the flow of transaction into an economy. So it deals with the transfer of capital in and out an economy. So in this case, it's just financial transaction flow, transfer of funds from one country to another. So it is a function of the differential between the domestic and foreign interest rate. So to make analysis simple, the interest rate here is simply the profit on savings. Save money, something could be added after the time period. That's additional money is known as interest rate. So the capital account is actually an increasing function of the domestic interest, which simply means because of its profit base, if the domestic interest rate rises, people will, of course, even foreigners or domestic citizens, they will prefer to invest in the country because they know they have higher returns. So it leads to capital inflows in an economy. So it improves the capital account. However, it is a decreasing function of the foreign interest rate. If now domestic interest rate has not risen, but foreign interest rate has risen more than it, people will switch from investing in the domestic currency, country, to investing in foreign currency. So even domestic citizens now will take their money out of the country to another country. So it leads to capital outflows because they believe they will have more to earn from that. So the capital account is simply given as KA equals to K, which is the degree of sensitivity between the difference between the domestic and foreign. I is domestic, I star is foreign. So given this background, the DB curve is mathematically derived as this. So you have to remember that a surplus in the current account must be financed by a deficit in the capital account. Similarly, a deficit in the current account must be financed by a surplus in the current account. So it means the balance of payments must always equal to zero. So BOP is zero always. But you also know that the BOP is CA plus KA, where CA is that minus alpha y plus beta y star minus theta A. KA is equals to small k into I minus I star.